Stop guessing. Stop wasting money on random oils, shampoos, and miracle treatments. If your hair is falling out, your body is already sending you signals, and blood tests are the only way to read them correctly. My channel name is BioBites, and you are warmly welcome to BioBites. Before we start, I want to know something about you. Drop your age in the comments and also tell me where you're from, your city, and your country. I read your comments, so don't skip this. Now, let's get started. Hair loss is not just a surface problem. It is a biological warning sign. When your body lacks nutrients, when hormones go out of balance, or when internal systems start struggling, your hair is often one of the first things to suffer. And here's the hard truth. If you are not doing blood tests, you are guessing. And guessing leads to wasted time, wasted money, and worsening hair loss. Let's break down the most critical blood tests you need and why ignoring them is a mistake. First, iron levels. Serum ferritin. If your iron is low, your hair follicles literally starve. Ferritin measures your stored iron, not just what's floating in your blood. Many people have normal hemoglobin, but dangerously low ferritin, and that's enough to trigger hair shedding. Low ferritin equals weak roots, excessive shedding, slow regrowth. For healthy hair, ferritin should not just be normal. It should be optimal, often above 50-70 nmol. Anything lower and your hair is at risk. Second, vitamin. This is one of the most ignored causes of hair loss. Vitamin D plays a direct role in activating hair follicles. Without it, follicles go dormant, meaning your hair stops growing. If you stay indoors a lot, avoid sunlight, or live in polluted areas, your levels are likely low. And low vitamin D doesn't just affect hair. It weakens immunity, bones, and clears throat, overall energy. Third, thyroid function, TSH, T3, T4. Your thyroid controls metabolism, and your hair growth cycle depends on it. Even a slight imbalance can lead to diffuse hair thinning, dry, brittle hair, sudden shedding. Here's where most people mess up. They only check TSH. That's incomplete. You need a full thyroid panel, TSH, free T3, and free T4 to see the real picture. Fourth, vitamin B12. Low B12 equals weak blood supply to hair follicles. That means less oxygen, less nutrients, and slower growth. Symptoms often include hair thinning, fatigue, brain fog. If you're vegetarian or have poor diet habits, your risk is even higher. Fifth, zinc. Zinc is essential for tissue repair and hair growth. Low zinc levels can cause hair shedding, slow regrowth, weak hair structure, and here's the catch: stress depletes zinc fast. So, if you're constantly stressed, your hair is paying the price. Sixth, hormonal tests, especially DHT and testosterone. If your hairline is receding or thinning in a pattern, hormones are likely involved. DHT, dihydrotestosterone, shrinks hair follicles over time. This is the main cause of pattern baldness. Without testing hormones, you are blind to the root cause. Now, let's be brutally honest. If you are only applying oils and expecting results, you are treating symptoms, not the problem. Hair loss is internal first, external second. You don't fix it with guesswork. You fix it with data. Here's what you need to do next. Get these blood tests done. Identify deficiencies. Fix them with proper nutrition or medical guidance. Stop relying on random solutions, because once the internal imbalance is corrected, your hair has a real chance to recover. Your hair is not the problem. Your body is communicating something deeper. Listen to it or keep losing hair. Imagine waking up one morning and noticing more hair on your pillow than usual. That first sight is never just cosmetic. Hair loss is not a standalone problem. It's your body screaming a warning. Every strand that falls represents a hidden imbalance somewhere inside. It could be a nutrient deficiency, a hormonal disruption, or even a subtle metabolic issue that's been brewing silently for months. Most people panic and rush to buy shampoos, serums, or hair masks, thinking that fixing the outside will fix the inside. That's where the mistake lies. Treating symptoms while ignoring the cause is like painting over rust and expecting the metal to be strong. Your hair is literally a reflection of your internal health. When follicles are deprived of essential nutrients, oxygen, or hormonal signals, they weaken and enter a shedding phase, and no topical product can reverse that process. Ever wondered why some people eat well and still lose hair? It's not about diet alone. It's about absorption, deficiencies, and internal communication between your organs and your follicles. Stress, inflammation, autoimmune triggers, even subtle gut issues can all send signals that your hair interprets as a call to stop growing. And here's a shocking fact. Hair loss can precede other, more serious health issues. It's often the first visible clue that something is going wrong with your thyroid, iron levels, or hormonal balance. Ignoring it is not just cosmetic negligence. It's ignoring your body's early warning system. If you really want to understand your hair loss, you need to stop blaming shampoos and start investigating what your body is lacking, what systems are overworked, and what imbalances are silently sabotaging your follicles. The difference between guessing and knowing can change everything about your hair's future. Here's a brutal truth. If your hair is falling out, low iron is one of the most common hidden culprits, and most people never even check for it. Iron isn't just about energy or avoiding anemia. It's the fuel that keeps your hair follicles alive and active. Ferritin, the storage form of iron, is what really matters. You could have normal of blood counts, feel fine, and still have ferritin so low that your follicles are starving. Think of your hair as a plant. No matter how much water you pour on the leaves, if the roots don't have nutrients, the plant will wither. Every week, thinning strand is a sign that the roots are struggling. And here's where most people get it wrong. They focus on hemoglobin thinking that's enough. But ferritin is often ignored in standard check cups. Low ferritin triggers a chain reaction in your scalp. Follicles shrink, shedding increases, and regrowth slows dramatically. Women are especially vulnerable because menstruation can deplete iron faster, and diets low in meat or certain minerals amplify the problem. Even athletes or those under stress can see ferritin drop without realizing it. The irony is that iron is often so simple to correct. Yet so many people waste months on ineffective treatments while their follicles starve silently. If you want to actually stop hair loss, ferritin is not optional. It's essential. Blood tests are the only way to know if your follicles are getting the iron they desperately need, because guessing will always fail. Every strand that falls is a direct reflection of what your iron stores are doing, starving your hair at the very roots, leaving you frustrated, anxious, and misled by ineffective solutions. Understanding ferritin is not just about hair. It's about giving your follicles the very foundation they need to survive and thrive. Here's something most people completely overlook. Vitamin D is not just about strong bones. It's a master regulator for your hair follicles. And deficiency can silently sabotage your growth before you even notice it. Imagine your hair follicles as tiny engines that need a switch to turn on. Vitamin D is that switch. Without it, follicles go dormant, enter a resting phase, and shedding accelerates. Many people assume they get enough from sunlight or diet. But the truth is, modern lifestyles, indoor jobs, high pollution, and sunscreen use mean most adults are walking around severely deficient. And here's the kicker. You may not feel sick at all, but your hair is showing the early warning signs. Vitamin D directly influences the creation of new follicles and the cycling of existing ones. Low levels disrupt this cycle, meaning even if you're eating well or taking other supplements, your follicles remain inactive. Women in particular experience thinning along the crown or overall hair loss when vitamin D drops. But men are equally affected, especially if pattern hair loss is hormonally driven. Another surprising fact, vitamin D deficiency often coincides with other deficiencies like zinc or iron, creating a perfect storm where follicles are starving from multiple directions at once. You can't just hope sunlight will fix it, because absorption depends on other factors like gut health, liver function, and magnesium levels. The problem is invisible until it shows up on your scalp as brittle, thin strands that break easily. Many people waste months on topical treatments or shampoos, while their follicles remain dormant internally. And that's why understanding vitamin D levels through blood testing is non-negotiable. It's not optional. It's the switch that decides whether your hair grows or stalls. And ignoring it is one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to reverse hair loss. Every strand tells a story, and vitamin D is one of the most critical chapters. Most people think hair loss is just cosmetic, but the thyroid controls more than metabolism. It controls your hair growth cycle. Even a small imbalance in thyroid hormones can trigger massive shedding, thin, brittle strands, or slow regrowth. Yet, it often goes completely unnoticed because people feel fine otherwise. The problem is most testing is incomplete. Many doctors only check TSH, assuming it tells the whole story. But TSH alone is like checking the engine light on a car without looking under the hood. It tells you something is wrong, but not what, and definitely not how to fix it. Hair follicles are extremely sensitive to thyroid hormones. Free T3 and free T4 are the signals that actually drive follicle activity. If those are off, your follicles literally stop responding properly. People with subclinical hypothyroidism might see diffuse hair thinning across the scalp without any other obvious symptoms, and men and women both experience this. The result, hair becomes brittle, shedding increases, and growth slows to a crawl. Even if you correct diet, vitamins, or supplements without addressing thyroid imbalance, your follicles remain starved of critical hormonal instructions. And the scary part, thyroid issues often develop slowly. You may not feel fatigue, weight changes, or mood swings until the imbalance is significant, but your hair is already sending an urgent SOS. Women especially are vulnerable during hormonal transitions, postpartum, menopause, or after stress because thyroid sensitivity spikes, creating an environment where follicles cannot function. Optimally, many assume hair loss is inevitable with age, but often it's a thyroid signal masquerading as natural thinning. You can't fix this with topical treatments or hair masks. Blood tests are the only way to uncover the silent sabotage happening inside your body. Every strand falling from your scalp could be telling you that your follicles are not receiving the thyroid signals they desperately need. And ignoring it only lets the problem progress unnoticed. Here's a reality most people completely underestimate. Your hair needs more than just protein and shampoo. It needs critical nutrients like vitamin B12 and zinc to survive and thrive. Think of B12 as the delivery system for oxygen and nutrients to your hair follicles. Without enough B12, your follicles are literally suffocating. Low levels can show up in surprising ways. Hair that breaks easily, slow growth, excessive shedding, or even a scalp that feels dry and brittle. Many people assume fatigue or brain fog are the main symptoms of B12 deficiency, but hair is often the first silent victim. And zinc, this is the mineral your follicles rely on for repair and structural integrity. Stress, poor diet, or even minor digestive issues can deplete zinc quickly, leaving your hair weak, thin, and prone to shedding. What's shocking is how easily these deficiencies are overlooked. You could be eating a seemingly balanced diet, but absorption issues, vegetarian or vegan diets, or chronic stress can silently drain your B12 and zinc reserves. And here's the thing most people miss. Deficiencies rarely exist in isolation. Low B12 often coincides with low iron or low vitamin D, creating a perfect storm for hair loss. Hair follicles are incredibly sensitive to even minor nutrient shortfalls. They respond faster than any other organ in the body. That means while your nails, skin, or energy levels might seem okay, your follicles are silently suffering and telling the story, strand by strand. People spend thousands on shampoos, serums, and hair vitamins. But if B12 and zinc aren't optimized, those treatments are useless because the follicles lack the raw materials to respond. The only way to know is through blood testing. Guessing will always fail. Every hair that falls is a reflection of what's missing inside. And ignoring these key nutrients is exactly why so many treatments fail, despite all the effort, time, and money spent on external solutions. Here's a hard truth. If your hair is thinning along the hairline or crown, hormones are often the hidden culprit, and most people don't even consider it. Dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, is a powerful derivative of testosterone that directly attacks hair follicles, shrinking them over time and pushing them into early dormancy. This is the main driver behind pattern baldness in both men and women. Yet countless people try to fight hair loss with shampoos, oils, or topical treatments that can't touch the real problem. Hair follicles are extremely sensitive to DHT. Even small elevations over time can cause significant miniaturization, leading to thinning, breakage, and eventual bald patches. What makes this especially tricky is that DHT levels can fluctuate due to stress, diet, or other hormonal imbalances, meaning your hair can deteriorate silently while you feel healthy otherwise. Many people don't realize that genetics only set the stage. Hormones decide the performance. Even if your parents didn't go bald early, elevated DHT can trigger the same patterns. Women are not immune. Hormonal shifts during menopause, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, or postpartum periods can spike DHT locally in the scalp, causing diffuse thinning that seems sudden and mysterious. The critical mistake people make is waiting until the problem is visible. By the time hair loss is noticeable in the mirror, follicles have often been shrinking for months or years. And here's the kicker. External treatments alone cannot block or reverse DHT effects without testing hormone levels, particularly testosterone and DHT. You're essentially fighting blind. Your follicles are signaling distress, shedding faster than they should, and shrinking because the hormonal environment is hostile. Ignoring this is why so many hair regrowth plans fail. Blood tests are the only way to identify the hormonal sabotage, pinpoint exactly what's going wrong, and guide interventions that actually protect follicles before permanent miniaturization occurs. Every falling strand is a silent alarm that your hormones are undermining your hair's future. If this opens your eyes, don't just sit there. Take action today. Get your blood tests done. Understand your body. Fix the root cause. And if you want more no-nonsense science-based health insights that actually work, hit the like button and share this with someone who's struggling with hair loss right now. Your health is your responsibility. Start acting like